In the bustling city of Lagos, there was a man named Chinedu. Every Sunday, Chinedu dressed in his best clothes and made his way to the local church. He cherished these moments of peace and reflection, finding solace in the weekly sermons and hymns. One sunny Sunday morning, as Chinedu entered the church and found his usual seat, his eyes caught sight of two beautiful ladies seated together on the same bench. One wore a vibrant wax-print dress that shimmered in the morning light, her afro hair framing her face like a halo. The other had long, straight hair and wore a simple, elegant dress. Both were equally stunning, and Chinedu found it hard to look away. As the service began, Chinedu couldn't help but steal glances at the two women. He talked to himself in his mind, marveling at their beauty. The one with the afro and wax-print dress, there's something special about her. Her smile lights up the whole room. But the other lady, she has a certain grace and elegance too. How can one choose between such beauty? Throughout the sermon, Chinedu's thoughts kept drifting back to the ladies. His heart skipped a beat every time he looked at the one in the wax-print dress. Her style is so vibrant, so full of life, he mused. And that afro, it's like a crown. She carries herself with such confidence. I think I'm falling for her. Chinedu imagined what it would be like to talk to her, to get to know her. Maybe after the service, I'll muster up the courage to introduce myself. But what if she thinks I'm just another admirer? His thoughts were a whirlwind of excitement and nervousness. The service continued, the pastor's words echoing through the church, but Chinedu barely heard them. His mind was consumed with thoughts of the woman in the wax-print dress. I have to talk to her. I have to find out if she's as wonderful as she seems. As the service drew to a close, the pastor raised his hands for the final blessing. Chinedu's heart raced. This is it, he thought. The moment of truth. But as soon as the pastor said Amen, the two ladies stood up, exchanged a few words, and left the church together. Chinedu sat there, watching them walk away, a mix of longing and disappointment in his heart. Maybe next Sunday, he thought, I'll get another chance. For now, I'll hold on to the hope that one day, I'll find the courage to speak to her. And with that, Chinedu left the church, his thoughts still filled with the image of the beautiful lady in the wax-print dress and her radiant afro hair, hoping that fate would give him another opportunity to turn his admiration into something more. The following Sunday arrived with the promise of new beginnings. Chinedu woke up earlier than usual, his heart filled with anticipation. He quickly went to bathe, the cool water refreshing his senses and heightening his excitement. As he dried off, he could hardly wait to put on his most beautiful black suit and matching bow tie, carefully chosen for the special day. Standing in front of the mirror, Chinedu adjusted his bow tie one last time and smiled at his reflection. I hope I'm looking handsome, he thought to himself, his heart pounding with a mixture of nerves and determination. Today, I will win the heart of the beautiful lady I admired last Sunday. With a final look of approval, Chinedu grabbed his Bible and headed out the door. The morning sun cast a warm glow over Lagos, and the streets were already beginning to fill with the hustle and bustle of another vibrant day. But Chinedu's mind was singularly focused on the church and the possibility of seeing the lady in the wax-print dress again. As he walked, his thoughts drifted back to her radiant smile and the way her afro hair framed her face so perfectly. She has to be there, he whispered to himself, and this time, I'll find the courage to talk to her. The church came into view, its tall spires reaching towards the heavens. Chinedu's steps quickened as he approached the entrance, his heart filled with hope and excitement. Entering the church, Chinedu threw his eyes around, scanning the pews and looking for the two ladies. His heart leaped when he finally spotted them seated at the front. Wow! She looks beautiful and she's well dressed, he thought, feeling a surge of admiration. Gathering his courage, Chinedu walked towards them and took a seat nearby. He turned to them and smiled warmly. "Good morning," he greeted them. "I'm Chinedu. It's nice to see you both again." The lady in the wax print dress turned to him, her eyes sparkling. "Good morning, Chinedu. I'm Ada, and this is my friend, Neka." "Nice to meet you, Ada and Neka," Chinedu replied, feeling a thrill at finally knowing her name. "I couldn't help but notice how beautifully you both dress. Ada, your dress is especially stunning." Ada blushed slightly and smiled. "Thank you, Chinedu. I appreciate the compliment. Your suit is quite handsome as well." Neka nodded in agreement. "Yes, it's nice to see someone who dresses so well for church." Chinedu beamed, feeling a warmth spread through him. "Thank you, both. I've been meaning to say hello since last Sunday, but I didn't get the chance." "We are glad you did today," Ada said, her smile making Chinedu's heart skip a beat. Their conversation flowed easily, a mix of introductions and light-hearted exchanges. Just as Chinedu was about to ask more about Ada, the church programmer stepped to the front, signaling the start of the service. Chinedu's heart was still racing, but now it was filled with a new sense of hope and possibility. As the service began, he couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of something special. As the service ended, Chinedu's heart pounded with anticipation. He had been waiting for this moment. As the final hymn concluded and the congregation began to disperse, he turned to Ada and Neka with a hopeful smile. "Would you both like to step outside with me for a bit? It's such a beautiful day, and I'd love to continue our conversation," Chinedu suggested. Ada and Neka exchanged glances before Ada nodded. "Sure, Chinedu. That sounds nice." As they walked outside together, Chinedu's mind raced with thoughts. "Today I will win Ada for real," he resolved. Once outside, Chinedu took a deep breath and turned to the ladies. "Ada, Neka, it's really been wonderful meeting you both. I've been looking forward to this all week." Neka smiled knowingly. "It's been nice meeting you too, Chinedu. You seem very kind." Ada nodded in agreement. "Yes, it's refreshing to meet someone so genuine." Chinedu smiled, feeling his confidence grow. "Thank you. Ada, I have to say, I've been captivated by your grace and beauty since the moment I saw you last Sunday. I've been looking forward to getting to know you better." Ada blushed, looking both pleased and a bit shy. "That's very sweet of you to say, Chinedu." Neka glanced at Ada and then at Chinedu, a twinkle in her eye. "I think I'll head towards the gate and give you two a moment to talk." "Ada, I'll wait for you there." Ada nodded, smiling at her friend. "Thank you, Neka. I'll join you shortly." As Neka walked away, Chinedu and Ada stood together, the world around them seeming to fade away. This was the moment Chinedu had been waiting for, and he felt a surge of gratitude for this chance to connect with the woman who had captured his heart. Chinedu took a deep breath, feeling both nervous and excited. "For real, Ada, you have captured my eyes, and you are beautiful to my eyes." Ada smiled warmly, her eyes meeting Chinedu's. "Thank you, Chinedu. You're very kind." "I mean it," Chinedu continued, his voice sincere. "Since the first time I saw you, I've been drawn to your beauty and your grace. I couldn't stop thinking about you all week." Ada's smile widened, her cheeks flushing slightly. "I'm flattered, Chinedu. I've noticed you too. You seem like a genuinely nice person, and I appreciate that." Chinedu felt his heart soar. "I'm glad to hear that, Ada. I've been hoping to get to know you better. Maybe we could meet up sometime outside of church." Ada hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "I'd like that, Chinedu. I'd like to get to know you better too." Feeling a surge of courage, Chinedu took out his phone. Would it be alright if we exchanged phone numbers? That way we can keep in touch and plan something. Ada smiled and took out her phone as well. Sure, let's do that. They exchanged phone numbers, their fingers brushing slightly as they handed their phones back to each other. The moment felt significant, filled with promise and potential. Thank you, Ada, Chinedu said, his voice filled with gratitude. As Chinedu and Ada exchanged a final smile, they agreed to part ways and head home. They walked towards different gates, both feeling a sense of happiness and anticipation. Chinedu's heart was light, and Ada's steps were buoyant with excitement. As Ada reached the gate, she saw Neka waiting for her. Neka's eyes sparkled with curiosity as Ada approached, her face glowing with joy. What did he say? Neka asked eagerly. Ada couldn't contain her smile. Chinedu was so sweet, Neka. He told me that I've captured his eyes and that I'm beautiful to him. He's been thinking about me all week and wants to get to know me better. Neka grinned, her excitement matching Ada's. That's wonderful, Ada. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. What did you say? Ada blushed slightly. I told him I'd like to get to know him better too. We exchanged phone numbers, and he's going to call me this evening. Neka clapped her hands in delight. I'm so happy for you, Ada. It sounds like he's really into you. Ada nodded, her heart swelling with happiness. Yes, he is. And I have to admit, I'm looking forward to getting to know him too. He has a kind heart and a gentle way about him. As they walked away from the church, Ada shared more details of their conversation, her face lighting up with each word. Neka listened with a supportive smile, thrilled for her friend's new connection. And his heart racing with joy. She's everything I hoped for and more. I'll be ready to marry her. Chinedu replayed their conversation in his mind, savoring every detail. The way Ada smiled at him, her kind words, and the warmth in her eyes filled him with a sense of hope and anticipation. He couldn't wait for the evening to come so he could call her and continue their conversation. As the afternoon passed, Chinedu's excitement grew. He found himself glancing at the clock, eagerly counting down the hours until he could hear Ada's voice again. He imagined their future together, picturing a life filled with love and happiness. This is just the beginning, he thought, his heart swelling with gratitude. Ada is the one I've been waiting for, and I'll do everything I can to make her happy. With these thoughts, Chinedu felt a deep sense of contentment. He knew that the path ahead was filled with promise, and he was ready to embrace it with open arms. The day had brought him closer to his dreams, and as the sun began to set, he prepared to call Ada, his heart filled with hope and excitement for the future. As the evening settled over Lagos, Chinedu's anticipation reached its peak. He paced his room, his phone clutched tightly in his hand, waiting for the right moment to call Ada. The sun had set, casting a calm darkness over the city, and the stars twinkled brightly in the sky. Taking a deep breath, Chinedu dialed Ada's number, his heart pounding with each ring. Hello, Chinedu. Ada's voice was soft and sweet, and hearing it sent a thrill through Chinedu's heart. Hello, Ada. How are you this evening? Chinedu asked, trying to keep his voice steady. I'm good, thank you. And you? Ada replied, a smile evident in her tone. I'm great, especially now that I'm talking to you, Chinedu said, feeling his nerves settle as the conversation began to flow. Ada laughed softly. You're quite the charmer, Chinedu. Chinedu chuckled. Only for you, Ada. I've been thinking about our conversation all day. I'm really glad we got to talk after church. Me too, Ada agreed. I enjoyed our conversation. You seem like a really nice person. Thank you, Ada. That means a lot to me, Chinedu said sincerely. I was thinking maybe we could meet up sometime this week. How about a visit to the game park? I heard it's really beautiful this time of year. Ada's excitement was palpable. That sounds wonderful, Chinedu. I'd love to go to the game park with you. Great. How about we go this Saturday? We can spend the day there, enjoy the scenery, and get to know each other better, Chinedu suggested. Saturday sounds perfect, Ada replied. I'm looking forward to it already. Me too, Ada. I can't wait to spend time with you, Chinedu said, his heart full of happiness. I'll pick you up at 10 in the morning, if that works for you. Yes, that works for me. Thank you, Chinedu, Ada said warmly. It's my pleasure, Ada. I'm really excited about our day together, Chinedu said. Thank you for agreeing to go out with me. Thank you for asking, Chinedu. I'm excited too, Ada said. As the conversation continued, they talked about their interests, their favorite things to do, and shared stories about their lives. The connection between them grew stronger with each word, and Chinedu felt more certain than ever that Ada was the one for him. After a while, Chinedu glanced at the clock and realized it was getting late. Ada, I should let you go so you can get some rest. Thank you for such a lovely conversation. I'll see you on Saturday. Thank you, Chinedu. I really enjoyed talking with you. Have a good night, Ada replied. You too, Ada. Sweet dreams, Chinedu said, his voice softening with affection. Good night, Chinedu, Ada said, and with that, the call ended. Chinedu sat back, a smile spreading across his face. The conversation had been everything he hoped for and more. Wow. It's good I have won her, and I'll be ready to marry her, he thought to himself, his heart brimming with happiness. With thoughts of Ada filling his mind, Chinedu drifted off to sleep, dreaming of the upcoming day at the game park and the bright future that lay ahead. As the sun rose over Lagos, Chinedu's excitement bubbled up like a fizzy drink. He dressed meticulously, ensuring he looked his best for Ada. Today was the day they would spend together at the game park, and he couldn't wait to see her again. After a quick breakfast, he grabbed his keys and set out to pick her up. Arriving at Ada's house, Chinedu greeted her with a bright smile. Ada stepped out, looking radiant in a floral dress that fluttered gently in the morning breeze. Good morning, Chinedu, Ada greeted, her eyes twinkling with happiness. Good morning, Ada. You look amazing, Chinedu complimented, feeling a rush of warmth in his chest. Thank you, Ada replied with a shy smile. I'm really looking forward to today. They chatted animatedly on the way to the game park, sharing stories and laughter. When they arrived, the park greeted them with lush greenery and the sounds of chirping birds. They strolled along winding paths, occasionally stopping to admire the scenery or take pictures together. As they found a quiet spot under a sprawling tree, Chinedu took a deep breath. Ada, there's something I've been thinking about. Ada looked at him curiously, her eyes filled with anticipation. I think we should start planning our wedding, Chinedu said earnestly, his voice tinged with excitement. Ada's face lit up in surprise and joy. Chinedu, I was hoping you'd say that. They spent the next hour discussing their dreams and ideas for the wedding. Ada shared her vision of an intimate ceremony with close friends and family, while Chinedu expressed his desire for a celebration filled with music and dancing. We should talk to Pastor Johnson next week, Chinedu suggested. He can help us plan and guide us through the process. Ada nodded enthusiastically. Yes, let's do that. I'm so happy, Chinedu. Chinedu reached for Ada's hand, his heart swelling with love. Ada, you make me so happy. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Ada squeezed his hand gently. Me too, Chinedu. As the day drew to a close, they walked back to the car hand in hand, their hearts full of love and anticipation. Standing by Ada's doorstep, Chinedu looked into her eyes and felt a surge of courage. He leaned in and gently kissed her, a promise of their future together. "Goodbye, Ada," Chinedu whispered softly. "Goodbye, Chinedu," Ada replied, her voice filled with love. With hearts full of hope and excitement, Chinedu and Ada left the park hand in hand, knowing that their visit to Pastor Johnson next week would mark the beginning of a beautiful chapter in their lives together. The promise week reached, Chinedu and Ada arrived at Pastor Johnson's office on a warm Wednesday afternoon. The soft hum of the air conditioner and the quiet serenity of the church provided a soothing backdrop to their nerves. They sat hand in hand, exchanging excited glances as they waited for Pastor Johnson to greet them. "Good afternoon, Chinedu and Ada," Pastor Johnson said warmly as he entered the room. His kind eyes twinkled with a knowing smile. "Good afternoon, Pastor Johnson," Chinedu replied, feeling a surge of anticipation. Ada nodded with a smile. "Hello, Pastor Johnson. Thank you for meeting with us." "It's my pleasure," Pastor Johnson said, taking a seat across from them. "I can see the happiness in both of your eyes. How can I assist you today?" Chinedu cleared his throat, his voice steady with determination. "Pastor Johnson, we've been talking and praying about our future together. We would like to start planning our wedding." Pastor Johnson nodded thoughtfully. "That's wonderful news, Chinedu and Ada. Marriage is a sacred commitment, and it's important to approach it with prayer and preparation." "We understand, Pastor," Ada said earnestly. "We want our wedding to be a celebration of our love and faith." Pastor Johnson smiled warmly. "I'm glad to hear that. Let's discuss your vision for the wedding. Have you thought about the date?" Chinedu glanced at Ada, a smile tugging at his lips. "We were hoping to have it sometime next month, Pastor Johnson. Maybe mid-September." Pastor Johnson nodded, flipping through his planner. "Let me check my schedule. It seems we have a few openings around that time. How about September 15th? It's a Saturday." Chinedu and Ada exchanged a look of excitement. "September 15th sounds perfect, Pastor Johnson," Chinedu said, his heart swelling with joy. "Excellent," Pastor Johnson replied, jotting down the date. "I'll reserve the church for you both on that day. We can discuss further details closer to the time, such as the ceremony, vows, and any special requests you may have." "Thank you so much, Pastor Johnson," Ada said gratefully. "We really appreciate your guidance and support." "It's my pleasure, Ada," Pastor Johnson said kindly. "Marriage is a journey of love and faith, and I'm honored to be a part of your beginning." After finalizing their plans and exchanging heartfelt goodbyes with Pastor Johnson, Chinedu and Ada walked out of the church hand in hand. The weight of their commitment felt light and joyful, their hearts filled with anticipation for the beautiful day that awaited them. As they stepped into the warm afternoon sunlight, Chinedu pulled Ada close, planting a gentle kiss on her forehead. Ada smiled up at him, her eyes sparkling with love and excitement. "I can't wait to marry you, Ada," Chinedu whispered, his voice filled with happiness. "Me too, Chinedu," Ada replied softly, her heart full. Hand in hand, they walked down the path together, knowing that their journey towards marriage was just beginning, filled with love, faith, and the promise of a beautiful future together. The morning of September 15th arrived with a golden glow, filling the church with warmth and anticipation. Chinedu and Ada stood in their respective rooms, surrounded by loved ones helping them prepare for the most important day of their lives. Chinedu, dressed in a sleek black tuxedo, adjusted his tie with nervous excitement. He couldn't wait to see Ada, the woman who had captured his heart from the moment he saw her in church. Meanwhile, Ada stood in a room adorned with flowers, her wedding gown flowing elegantly around her. She couldn't believe the day had finally come when she would marry the man who had filled her thoughts and dreams. As the minutes ticked by, Chinedu and Ada exchanged nervous glances, both eager and anxious for the ceremony to begin. Their friends and family buzzed around them with laughter and encouragement, filling the air with joy and anticipation. Just as the wedding ceremony was about to begin, a hushed silence fell over the church as Nneka, Ada's best friend, burst through the doors. She looked distraught and out of breath, her eyes searching frantically until they locked onto Chinedu. "Nneka, what are you doing here?" Ada asked, her voice tinged with concern. Nneka rushed forward, ignoring the stares of the guests. "Chinedu, please, you can't marry Ada," she pleaded desperately. Chinedu's heart sank, confusion etched on his face. "Nneka, what is this?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. Nneka took a deep breath, her eyes brimming with tears. "Chinedu, I love you. I've loved you for so long," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I can't stand by and watch you marry Ada." The guests murmured in surprise, their eyes darting between Nneka, Chinedu, and Ada. Ada's face paled, her heart breaking at the revelation. She turned to Chinedu, searching his eyes for an explanation. Chinedu's mind raced, torn between his feelings for Ada and his friendship with Nneka. "Nneka, I care about you deeply, but I love Ada," he said firmly, his heart heavy with guilt. Nneka shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Chinedu, please don't do this," she pleaded, her voice filled with anguish. Before anyone could speak, Pastor Johnson stepped forward, his expression grave yet compassionate. "I'm sorry, but we cannot proceed with the wedding under these circumstances," he announced gently, addressing the stunned guests.